Cool, man. We're here again. Another episode of JetTalks live from Supercomputing 2025. I'm joined with my friend and colleague, Mr. Hayden Hall. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Nice to be here with you at SC25.
It's always great to be here with me.
Of course.
So what are you doing these days, Hayden? What's going on?
So I'm at Fovus, Fovus.co, and what we do is we help folks bring high-performance computing.
Talking to the mic.
Talking to the mic. Yeah, sorry. We help people who are either planning on moving high-performance computing work into the cloud, onto AWS, we're AWS-based service, to do that and do it as efficiently and cheaply as possible, or to help people who are already on AWS and want to save on their high-performance computing costs to do that.
So how does it work? Tell me how it works.
Of course. So it's actually really cool. We all know how fun, the AWS CLI is, and how complex it can get to start to do optimization on, especially complex workloads, right? Think about healthcare, life sciences, drug discovery pipelines or something where you've got 20, 30, 40 steps in a sequence. All of those should be running on different hardware, potentially different networking configurations, or yada yada yada. So what we do is we do microbenchmarking to take these jobs, optimize them to absolutely, kind of the edge of the curve, right? If you look at our video right there, to get you Pareto optimality, anywhere from, cost optimization or performance optimization, right? Or anywhere on that curve. So we do that for our customers. Typically, like I said, a lot of healthcare, life sciences. We also run computer-aided engineering workloads like ANSYS, fluid dynamics, that kind of stuff. But that's really what we're doing. We do Spot as well, right? So we're helping these folks take advantage of Spot. We have all the information about the likelihood of interruption for these jobs, so we can help people run on Spot when otherwise they'd be running on reserved.
Yeah, very cool. So we've seen, an interesting set of conversations with folks, especially at this show in particular, even other vendors we've talked to about the mix between, on-prem and cloud, right? And I think the supercomputing community, more so than any, I think still really biases more towards the on-prem side of things. So what's your experience been like, as being a cloud-based solution, in that mix? I mean, of course, all the hyperscalers are here. I don't think there's any doubt that people are doing HPC workloads in the cloud. But, my gut feeling is that it's maybe not the bulk of their workloads. But I'm just kind of curious, is it vary from customer to customer? Is it, are your customers doing a little bit on the cloud? How does that mix break out for you guys?
That's a very, very good question, and it's different for different customers. But we're seeing a lot of burst on the cloud, right? Everybody has different capacity requirements at different times. You might have a big project, or some work that you want to get done extra quickly. Or, there's a big important project finishing, right? And most of your supercomputing capacity is already spoken for, but you need to get this other stuff done. So we're seeing a lot of that. And then we're also seeing a lot of teams, especially in drug discovery type stuff, computational chemistry, computational biology, who want to take advantage of the latest resources, right? Like maybe they don't have, Grace Hopper or Blackwell stuff that they purchased, right? They've got massive CPU clusters, and that's all well and good for some of the stuff that they're doing, but they want to run, we have a different background than we normally do. They want to run GROMACS simulations or something that are GPU heavy. So what are they going to do with that, right? They have to go find the GPUs, they have to find them in the cloud. They have to set everything up and configure it, not with Fovus, but then they start to run into these types of challenges. So that's where we come in, right? And of course, assuming they have a good experience on the cloud, which is what we aim to provide, then it's like crack, right? You get hooked, and you realize how easy it is.
He said it, ladies and gentlemen, not me.
Sorry, candy maybe. And then you get them on each new architecture, and they're just having a great experience, ideally. So
no, it's true. I think that's been our read of the situation as well, especially for this particular community, is that people aren't adopting the cloud wholesale.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think for a wide variety of reasons. And honestly, I think that's probably the healthiest way to approach the cloud.
For sure. Well, you and I have, ample history here, but it is very, it's dependent on the team, dependent on the workloads. Just, there's so much kind of there's so many variables, even just beyond, kind of pure costs and so forth. But really, if you're to think about what we do, that's what we're focused on, is kind of creating that layer that enables a first-class experience, guaranteed best pricing you can actually achieve, or time to insight, right? You can go the complete opposite of the pricing scheme of things. I'm working, I can't say the name, but working with some folks right now who, they're running on local cluster, take about 10 days to run their pipeline. And they can now do it in 4.5 hours, wow. Right? So if you think about the pace of innovation, that they can achieve with that, and yes, it's 2.5 times more expensive, but for the right project or for the right scenario, that's just having that option is incredible.
Yeah, it becomes a business decision about the time value of money. You know what I mean?
But and it's available.
Right. But only that business can answer that question in that context.
Right. And it's, again, and being able to change, Q4 of this year with some spare budget left over, maybe they want to sprint, and get 10 iterations done instead of 2. But beginning of Q1 26, right, you want to figure out what you might be able to do with that budget elsewhere, right?
Yeah,
so who knows?
Budget came down. We gotta figure it out.
Bingo.
Nice, man. So Fovus.co.
Yep.
That's where we can find you. Yep. Anything else you want to add about the show or supercomputing or the cloud before we wrap up here?
Seeing particularly these cooling systems for some of these supercomputers out here. Getting to see, some of the quantum computers in person.
That's always my favorite. Is like, I have no idea what you guys are doing. I don't know if this is real. If it's you guys have a product, but man, it looks cool. Yeah, the lights are cool. Like,
I'm all for it.
I want to be a quantum guy. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Let me see. Is the cat alive or dead?
I was going to say you may actually be a quantum guy and not a quantum guy at the same time.
At the same time.
Who knows?
Ooh, I love it, man.
Oh, Jim. It's nice catching up with you, brother.
Yeah. Hayden, always a pleasure. Thanks for being on the show.
100%.
And see you around.
For sure, dude.